We are live. And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good, good.
Good,
How are
good.
you? How are you doing today, Miss Kimberly?
I'm doing fabulous, Miss It's Deb.
Mhm. So yeah, we were just talking about how much you love the weather here. So
Yes, how beautiful it is to be 80 today in the city metroplex of Houston Metroplex, and it was 40 something yesterday. So,
mhm. Welcome.
yes, but I digress.
Yes.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and joining us today. We are here live on Startup Tuesday, a little series that Deb and I thought would be helpful for folks out there in the um, World Wide Web
The
universe,
interwebs.
the
hmm
interwebs.
The interwebs.
Sharing our multifamily experiences and knowledge. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
hmm,
Today we're
yeah,
going to talk about tips and resources for customer acquisition strategy,
AKA just the
sales strategy. The fanciest way to call a sales strategy. So
yes,
yes, we're
the
gonna hit
fancy
on
way.
that today. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yes, see, we've already covered. You can go back to some of our other old lives by just putting in the hashtag industry live on any of the platforms we appear on, and you can. Let me go ahead and put. Oh, not that one. Let me go here. I should probably just have one. Here's some hashtag. Oh, we go. Put any of these hashtags into Google or any of the platforms, and you can see our past lives. That are included in this startup series, as well as some of the people that are guests that we've had on that has shared their knowledge and experience, which they were pretty interesting for sure.
Yes, lots of fun.
Yes. So before we jump into it, I want to make sure everybody knows that we are live from Deb's personal Facebook, my professional Facebook, ThatKimberly, and LinkedIn, as well as the YouTube. So wherever you're watching, let us know. Ask a question. We want this to be
Mhm.
very interactive. If possible, if you got a question you want to put in later, we'll get back to you. Make sure you tag one of us so that we can respond in a timely manner. This StreamYard software is amazing, but it has made some changes. So sometimes we don't see those things in the live unless it's right then and there when it's happening. So, yeah, um,
Okay.
yeah. And if you want to be on, make sure that you email one of us because we'd love to have you on to share your experience. So
Mhm.
cool. Okay. So
Cool.
let's jump into this. What do you say?
Yes, let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Let me move to our next little
All right.
image.
We got customer acquisition strategy for new business, plus how to keep it.
That's very, very important in our industry, would you not
Yes.
say?
Oh, absolutely, 100% important.
A lot of times people are running out there to go get the business and then they move on and don't pay attention to the current customer, which is very, very bad.
Absolutely. Your
So,
first point on here. So, marketing your business and building an online presence.
we're
You
going to
can
go.
speak to this. Like, this is all Kimberly right here. Why is it that so important, Kimberly? Mm.
Because it's no longer if you build it, they will come. That doesn't work anymore,
Right.
right? Like it's just not one of those things that folks understand. It just doesn't work like that anymore. So, one of the big things that I like to express to people, and we're going to just kind of toggle back and forth from these, is to first make sure, is build your website. 100%. You got to build your website, and hopefully you budgeted for that. But if you didn't, there are some free resources out there. But like with everything, free isn't always the best.
You're,
However,
you're, but you're going to need to pay.
you're going to pay. Yeah. for sure. So if you go and Google, hashtag Google is your mother. If you go into Google and you just put, free website tools, you can find a plethora of them, from free WordPress pages. This is actually Thrive Themes, which integrates. They have all these different, they have theme builders. A theme is what your website looks like, the template. That's the theme. That's what, when I'm saying theme, that's what they mean. But you can get a one-page website using something like About Me. This is another free resource that folks use. But I like to tell people from my past experiences is get 2 to 3 bids if you are going to pay for it. And you should, because there's a lot more to a website these days than just throwing up a one page and that's it, right?
It's not a set it and forget it.
Nope, it is not. So make sure you get references, make sure you get 3 different bids, and then make the choice based on who you think is going to work best with you and your company, project manager, whoever it is. I can tell you that can go left real quick. I don't know if Deb, you've ever been involved in building a website, but there's a lot to it. And on the technical side of things, I don't feel people understand that nowadays you can be hacked. Like, do you know what the SS non-secure, when you go to a website and it's HTTPS, what that S stands for?
Secure.
There
right?
we go. Correct.
Yay.
Yay. You need your website to be secure. You need to pay for the SSL certificate that whoever you buy your domain from, you absolutely need to pay for that. Because if you don't, your information can be hacked. If you're asking for users' information into this website, that can be hacked. So pay the extra, whatever the fee is.
Pay the extra and make sure it's done right.
Absolutely. So, and if that's on a bare minimum, then you get everything else. You go for some free services and do that. You can also go back to Upworks or Fiverr or FreeUp and find a contractor or freelancer to help you build your website as well. If you don't want to utilize a service, which I highly recommend utilizing a service, right? Like, there's just a lot that you want to make sure that you consider so that you don't get hacked. Very, very important. You don't want to be hacked.
Right.
And you want your website to work for you, right? You want it to be, you want to have SEO behind it. Do you know what that stands for?
Search engine optimization.
Woo-hoo! Yes. Keywords so that you come up in the Google search.
Yep.
So that's everything on the back end, that we don't see.
Meta tags.
There you go. Look at you. Yes, meta tags. Very important. So you want to make sure that your website is working for you. That's your online presence. Some people go in and they type up either your name or your services that you actually come up in the search results. It takes a while for Google, especially nowadays, but you definitely, if you type in your name and your website doesn't come up, there's a problem.
Yeah, totally.
So make sure that you take that into consideration and that you, no matter what resource that you do use, that you're making sure that your website is working for you. So however you do it. And then when it comes to tech support, you can get tech support from GoDaddy. You can get tech support from, you can just go in, let me do this. Google is our mother, tech support for small businesses. Looky this. So these first few are ads. Can you see my?
Yep. Ads.
Yeah. But we want to go down here. So these people are paying for ads, which is not a bad thing. That means they have the money to go up there and yeah. And then here's the map that comes up for people that have reviews. You want to get reviews. But if you go further down, like it gives you a list of tech support, pricing, companies, you could put in top companies, 5 best IT support companies for small businesses.
Yep. That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so go there.
Mhm.
Google is our mother and is definitely something that you want to utilize, as well as your network with your other suppliers, right?
Right.
Because you want them to understand multifamily for sure.
Mhm.
But it,
Totally.
and it's very, very important
Well, and
to.
also too, there's even companies out there that are specialized in multifamily
Mhm.
websites. So, there are
Yes.
resources.
For sure. So you want to shout out to Spherex is one of them that highly that I have to give a big shout for supporting Do As We Do, but they even though they did the brunt of the work, we still had to wireframe the whole thing, and that means like the image of what we're thinking, putting where we want to put everything. So it's basically a outline for our brains to convert the information to them so they know
Right.
exactly where it should go, right? Which thank God we had a volunteer. Shout out to Brian for doing that, because that's not how my brain works. But
Right. There's always someone on the team that can do that. But
yeah, for sure,
mhm.
100%. And if you're good at that, then do it. Just get some support, because it's not always the best use of time for
Mhm.
um, for the top tier people that just started, right?
Right. That would be a terrible use of my time. Just
But you could do it. It just would.
I could figure it out. But if there's a million other things on the list. So,
Yes.
we got to keep it moving.
Yes. So then we moved to lead forms and landing pages that will actually, this building
Mhm.
landing pages website. This is also can be used for websites. It gives you a free trial, but you get more if you actually pay for the services.
Mhm.
With widgets, icons, social media. There's all sorts of things that you can, when you do pay for the service, whatever the service that is. Um, can bring to you. So this is Lead Pages,
Mhm.
and it's one of the resources. Mailchimp, they have grown like huge leaps and bounds from the first time that I ever used them, when they were just an email service, but now they have email landing pages. They also do digital ads, social media posts, all these other things. But
Mhm.
the key is, if you're going to drive them somewhere, right, you want to collect their data, or you want to give them something
Right.
that gets them to give you their email address. So very important, not just to drive them back, just to drive them anywhere, right?
Right.
And then keeping them updated on whichever your services are. I want to make sure that
Mhm.
as we're going through these, I'm closing
I
them.
didn't realize Mailchimp was doing so much extra. So that's really cool. I need to log
Yeah,
in there and check that out.
yeah, they definitely have grown a lot since them. I believe they were acquired or they expanded. I don't know how that worked, but I just know they do more than just email newsletters.
Right.
So Um, Active Campaign is another one that is great. They have email marketing, marketing automation, um, as well. Marketing automation just means that it's your whatever it's going to be. It's going to be scheduled. It's going to be automated. And
Mhm.
when somebody emails, say your company, then they get something automated back
Right.
based on whatever the campaign is that they've received an email for. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then there is also something that a company I've used, which is HubSpot, and they're great because their tools, they have a suite of stuff.
Mhm.
They might be a little bit pricier, but hold on, let me zoom in here. But they can put things into bundles, products and plans. So everything from for the free tools, right, to the
Mhm.
marketing hub, to the sales hub, to the service hub, to the CMS hub, to the operations hub. That's a lot of hubs,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I didn't realize HubSpot did so much either. So,
Yeah.
and I'm
And
hearing
they
more and more people are using them for their CRMs.
mhm, yeah. And CRMs are great because then it not only helps I'm not let me go away. Go away your little tool thing. I want you to there we go. These are without, people can go. I'm not trying to promote. I mean, we've used them. So, it's just there's so much in that
Mhm.
goes into this that people don't understand but it's good information that they can get. Um, by utilizing these tools, and also helping, like you said, CRM, right? Holding your salespeople accountable is
And
key,
getting,
or
yeah,
yourself if
yeah.
you're the only salesperson in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't do that, then WTF, right? Like,
Right.
why are you in business? So, yeah, they do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Um, okay. And last but not, where are we
Mm-hmm.
at with, and then social media, right? Was the last
Social
one.
media.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
let me close this one out.
You either know how important social media is or you're still in denial about it. It
So,
just depends on who you're talking to.
yeah, for sure. So, for whether you're a management company or you're a product supplier, you definitely need to at least be on Instagram, Facebook, and the LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I like for Portico, they do a great job of promoting their teams. So you can promote your team here. It's not about selling. It's about
Mm-hmm.
showing, your community, showing your, Portico does show off that they do, when they acquire properties. However, it's majority about their teams, and when their
Mm-hmm.
properties have opened, the awards for their teams, like they're definitely do a great job of I think all
Highlighting.
companies,
Yeah.
yeah, highlighting their people, and education. LinkedIn is great for education for sure.
Right.
So think along those lines when you're on LinkedIn and posting content. It
Mm-hmm.
will definitely be helpful. Um, I'm going to, before we go into any of our management or folks on, multifamily side, I just like to tell people that when it comes to social media, follow people who are outside of multifamily, like Gary Vee,
Mm-hmm.
Rachel Peterson, you and I both follow.
Right.
And she follows him and takes all his advice. This is a businessman,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about putting out the content, but then cutting it up for the different platforms
Mm.
based on what your viewer on that platform wants to
Right.
see. So that means in the context. So for
And every
LinkedIn,
platform has a different viewer too. I mean,
correct,
yeah.
100%. Yes. There was an image of Dolly Parton back in the day, or like a couple years ago, when they started what your profile pic would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And they had four different images of Dolly Parton, and they had one for LinkedIn, one for Facebook, one for Instagram, and one for Tinder. And all of her pictures are different because all those people on them are different that are
Mm-hmm.
interacting with her, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have to think in that mindset.
Totally.
And it doesn't have,
It's a whole nother world. And I think that's where like startups, like they struggle. If you don't know some of this, you're missing the boat. So
yeah.
finding an expert in this area, I think is really important.
Correct, or finding a tool, because
Mm-hmm.
like Hubspot, and there are publishing tools. There are other softwares. If you cannot afford a person, like a full-time person, you can contract the person, or you can utilize a tool that's out there that helps you distribute the content.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the best that you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's about putting the content out.
Right.
It's not about it being perfect anymore.
Yeah.
So,
And I think
so
that's what holds people back too. Like
Oh, 100%.
they're overly judging their own content.
100%. But you can see here, he's got a book out, he's got films, he's got NFTs, he's got question and answers, he's got his V friends, he's got like
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different things that he does. And just like multifamily, there's so many, when it comes to a management company or a supplier, there are different things that you can categorize, not just within Instagram, but it's the same thing for Facebook and LinkedIn and everything else. You got to chop. It can't be just blanket all
Mm-hmm.
of it. It just
Right.
doesn't work like that anymore. So, Spruce did, I looked at Spruce's, they did a great job of being kind of tongue in cheek, funny. Theirs is very, what's the word? Uh, I use pretty, but it's not about
Mm-hmm.
being pretty. It's aesthetically pleasing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Aesthetically pleasing. That
Yeah.
is the
Correct. Is that word?
yeah, no, that's yeah.
Those are big words for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can just put that one up there with your customer acquisition
There
strategy.
we go. the big words.
Mhm.
I'm still practicing on bigger ones. No, but it doesn't have to be. It's just a nice to have, but don't
Right.
think that you have to make it
The
perfect,
key
right?
the key is content.
Correct. But the key is content that is useful for the end user, no matter where the platform is.
Mhm.
Okay. Then we also have like the Remy. They're a startup management company. They have 4 or 5. Shout out to Elaine, but they highlight their people. Like it's looks nice. They actually use micro influencers, but on social media now, it's about engagement. It's about people
Mhm.
commenting. It's not about likes and hearts anymore. It's about the comments and you responding to those comments, no matter what they are. 100% important. So I was going to show Zumper's Facebook because I thought it was
Mhm.
very cute. How where are you, Zumper? Zumba?
Yes, they've always done a really great job with their social.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
We're going to
why
the
is it?
marketplace, are we?
I didn't mean to go there.
And it's going to be baby toys. Free shopping for me.
No. Oh, yeah, soon.
I, not for me. For
I
yeah,
know.
just
Just kidding. What is the deal? The Facebook?
I don't know, girl.
Holds, please.
You're having a live technical problem.
I know it happens. Okay. So here's some of Zumper's content. And they have a bot that likes to answer my questions. This one about ice cream, they asked a question and they got 4 comments and questions. So that is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
And be happy. Gary always says, be happy for the one,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about how many, just be happy, right? Be happy that people are even there engaging with you.
Right.
So those are very, very important.
That's
Would you
awesome.
not say?
Oh, totally agree. And even for myself, that's where I have to get out of my own head.
Why are you in your head?
Well, I overly analyze content. I
Uh,
overthink things. I
mhm,
think it's not going to be enough, and then I don't,
mhm.
which
Yeah,
is the worst thing that you can do is not, and then that's where
correct.
I end up. So yeah.
100%. Yeah. You can't not
Mhm.
just put it out there the best that you can.
Right.
And I can say this, that the gathering the content and having the full intention like I do, I've have so much stuff I've gathered. Going back there to put it out sometimes can be, but just do it. I do my best. It's not perfect. It's not great. I have misspellings. I'm a team of 2. I no longer have a team, but putting it out there and not judging yourself is
Mhm.
we all do it. I do it
Right.
too, just because it's a lot. So, but don't do it. Don't, do as we say and do as we do both.
Keep up with your social.
Yes, people.
Just put it out there, and I'm gonna work. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do
Yes.
better.
Do better. That's all we
Yeah.
can ask, right?
Mhm. Yep. And then what else do we have next? Do we want to talk
We to create and sell your product or
about?
service.
Right?
So we can talk a little bit about what it's like the sales. What do you
Mhm.
think the sales
Cycle.
cycle and process
Mm,
looks like
it
in our
it really honestly depends on your product.
mhm.
And it also depends on the size of the company.
Yeah.
The larger the company, the more usually layers you have to go through.
Oh, of management or
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
like
Yeah.
or people. There's more people, involved in each decision, and as opposed to a smaller company,
Yeah.
sometimes you're just dealing with the person that's deciding right then and there, and then that's obviously going to be a shorter cycle.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So it varies. I think that's why it's really important to like fill your funnel with all of it, like a
Yeah,
little bit of everything. Don't just hyper focus in like one direction. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, put
And
it
educating
with
them
a lot of
too.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah. And educating all
Mhm.
layers, right? Don't
Mhm.
ignore, doesn't
Right.
matter. Don't ignore any layer,
No.
whether it's on site to, don't always think it's the C suites and the corporate folks. Um,
Mhm.
it's attacking them at all layers, really. You have to.
Right, right.
Very, very
Well,
important.
and then from there, after you know, like the sales cycle is one thing, but then, you know, you've got to, in our industry, maintain that customer experience. I
100%.
mean, that's a whole nother conversation. So
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, like you know, you have a plan for that, but it's important to always be available, like be
Mhm.
seen and be a part of their lives and be their knowledgeable, you know, like you're their expert in whatever it is that you have decided to do business with, like,
Yeah.
so, you know, that's important, and you can really teach your clients a lot of things, and I think when you can teach your clients, like, they're just, you know, it makes it a better experience.
Yeah. I saw something the other day. It says that people don't, that your client, whatever you're selling, the consumer or your client cares about what's in it for them. Like
Mhm,
the end, they don't care. Like, for example, they don't care about nails. They care about holes and how, and if the hole, like how big of a hole they have, is the nail is going to fit in there? Is that going to solve their problem? So, be the problem solver. And even if it's not your product or your service that's going to solve that problem,
mhm,
you still, by you helping them
mhm,
builds that trust, right? To
right,
where when it is time and ready for them to consider your
mhm.
product,
Which
they
is, I've had that happen to me, you
mhm.
know, I've just, you know,
Tell the
you
story.
you network and you build the relationships, and, you know, we've all done it if we've been in this industry long
Mhm.
enough, like given a client of ours, a past client or whatever, a referral for something completely different that they just couldn't find, and then created an entirely new relationship out of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And, you know, that builds your relationship even more.
Yeah.
So it, you know, learning more about your client, you know, and their
Yeah.
business other than just your one avenue, I think is huge, and very important.
And what's important to them at the
Hmm.
end of the day,
Yeah.
not
What are their
it's
goals? You
yeah,
know.
what it for sure. And the software, like property management software,
Hmm.
their sales cycle is much, longer,
Right.
so how more complex the service or the intertwinings of whatever the client is already into
Mhm.
might take the sales cycle, might extend your sales cycle is what I should say. Or if you're brand new, like for us back in the day, nobody was doing what we were doing
It was
on
new.
a it was new, and
New is scary for people too.
correct in our
Mhm.
industry, right? So that we went from 3 years of to gaining after it, I always tell people we went from 0 to, overnight because it took us 3 years to even make our first $80,000, right?
Mhm.
So it's a long, but then we got our sales cycle down to 6 months or less with the
Mhm.
more sales people we had that were trusted and had education and had relationships,
Mhm.
and it just shortened and shortened and shortened that sales
Right.
cycle.
That matters too. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be
The level of your salesperson also.
there we go. Yeah, and the pitch, your pitch and your sales presentation.
Mhm. Yep, you've gotta have your presentation, and you've
On
gotta have
point.
your elevator pitch.
Yes, using Canva is great to
Mhm.
do a presentation if you're not quite sure. They definitely have great tools in Canva to give you a template you can insert all your information, but I literally was so new to the industry, I had to have somebody basically, well, one, shout out to Lisa Elliott to tell me maybe I should bring a computer to my presentation because we didn't have computers back then,
That
or
was
we
a
didn't
nice
have them just readily available, right? Like
that was a
I
very nice tip for her to give you.
we had one, but we didn't have a laptop, so we went out and bought a laptop
Mhm.
off of after that meeting. And then Judy Ray, who's now retired, shout out to Judy, showed me basically how other companies that were in advertising basically sold. She'd be like, I'm just using this as an example.
Mhm.
Okay, see, this is what they say are my options, and here's what you choose from, and paper and
Mhm.
print back in the day, right? Like that's what, and then you left it behind, right? She literally was so kind and doing it in a nice way
Aw.
that she was like, Kimberly, this
And that's
is
what your networking and your building relationships do for
yeah,
you. So
yeah.
we
And
learn
it
from
helped
each other. Mhm.
definitely and then hiring salespeople that actually could even
Mhm.
get the sales presentation down even better, right? Like
Right.
because it's one thing coming from the founders or the key people that started within the startup to actually having an outsider or a salesperson new that comes in and just kind of
Mhm.
reworks what you're building on. So
Yep.
for sure, it was very, very, very helpful.
Awesome. Well, I think
And
we covered.
la-
Mhm.
go ahead.
No, we covered a lot. Are we missing anything?
I don't think so.
All right.
But last but not least would be our staying in front of your customer. How do you recommend staying in front of your customer?
I think that you have to create a way to constantly be in their face at some point. Maybe
Mhm.
it's some sort of an email campaign, but you want to strategize on that. Like, what
Mhm.
kind of information are you wanting to send them, and what are they going to actually open and read?
Yeah.
But also, it's really important that as a sales professional, that you
Mhm.
know and you stick around and you know what your clients are going through, and where where you can fit in.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure. Mhm.
so yeah, I mean,
Education and training for sure,
education training.
ongoing for your
Yep.
for different because you never know when products evolve
Hmm.
or the services or the different things that they can use
Right.
your service or product for. So constantly bringing that up,
You
not
need
to
to
push.
you need to try to be their expert as much as possible.
Correct. Yeah. And then management conferences. How many management conferences would you say you've attended in your lifetime?
Mm, a lot, a lot,
A lot.
a lot, a lot last year too. So
Yeah. And those are very important. You
yeah.
must budget for them because they do cost, right?
Yep, budget accordingly. Utilize that time as much as you can while you're in these cities. If you
Yes.
can stick around or partner up with other suppliers, like really try to utilize your time there.
100%.
But they are very beneficial. So
Yeah.
if
Because
you're
they're
trying to make
they're
a brand out there, yes, that
mhm,
you want to
they're intimate.
support. Yeah, you want to support your client base. Like that is the perfect place to do that.
Absolutely. And if you have, if you have a limited budget, definitely your
Mhm.
management conferences are a way to go, along with maybe picking one trade show
Mhm.
to exhibit at, right? One or two. Like you can't be everywhere. We know when
You can't
you're,
be everywhere, no.
yeah.
But also,
Um,
this is why it's very important to get involved and find someone who can help mentor you and really
yes,
guide you in the right direction without you having to guess your way
yes.
through the process.
100%. And you do that by getting involved in your local
Apartment
apartment
association.
associations.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%. And then state, depending on how the local is, how many locals, like there are a lot in
Mhm.
Texas.
Mhm.
But once you're a member of one of your locals, like for Texas, you're a member of one, you're automatically a member of your state.
Mhm.
And if you're a member of your one local, then you're also a member of the national, right?
Yep.
So remembering those things.
Yep. And there's so much opportunity in every one of those. So.
Correct.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And then doing collaborations, like
Mhm.
the word I put out there was the collabs, right?
Yeah.
Because that's
Mhm.
that
You're
try
hip.
to be
Yeah.
we're hip, not really, but
Yeah. You're so hip. We're hip.
doing collaborations with others and partnerships, whether it's lives like this, right?
Mhm.
Or it's collaborating on a party, a training, a what else? A
Mhm.
breakfast,
Right.
a lunch.
There's tons of ideas out there to do
Yeah,
that. There's so many different areas to collaborate with your friends and your family of the industry.
yeah, and your new friends, like, don't
Mhm.
be shy. Don't all somebody can do is tell you no, but I would say 99% of the people won't say no, right?
Mhm.
They might not call you back. Just kidding.
That's okay.
Send Deb or I an email. We promise we will respond if you want.
You can call me out if I don't, like, it's cool 'cause,
Absolutely. Here's our email address for sure.
mhm. Reach out to us, let us know if you have any questions,
Yes.
let us know what you wanna hear about, or if you have something to share, like, bring
Yeah.
it.
Thank you, Laura, for joining us. Yes,
Yay,
we
Laura!
love the Remy and we love Elaine for sure. It is something that I feel that people need to better understand that we are a friendly group. We're kind of intimidating, I feel, in the beginning, right?
Mhm.
It can be, but
It can feel intimidating, but hang in there. Power
yeah,
through.
power through and just, you know,
Mhm.
get out there.
You
Get out there and do it,
just do
right?
it. Yep.
Did
Right.
we cover everything for today? I
We
feel
covered
like
everything, and then we won't be back next week because everyone's gonna enjoy their holiday week.
yes, the Christmas holiday. Are you spending it here?
Yep, I will be here.
Well, I'll be in EP for a little while, but I'll come back here. This is my little Christmassy
Little
earrings that I
flare,
got
little
from,
Christmas flare.
yeah, I like, yes, Christmas flair
Mhm.
from Z Bucky's out of Texas.
Yes,
That
Bucky's
they're
rocks. Shout out to Boxy
yeah,
Bucky.
bucks.
Shout out to Bucky's.
Bucky's. But I'll be back, and we will come back the following
Mhm.
Tuesday, which is the 28th, to pick up our series, and we're lining up a couple of guests on there. Laura, if you'd like to be a guest on our
Mhm.
live, we would love to have you.
Yeah,
And
text
we have,
me.
yes, for sure. We have another hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today from
Yes, thank you.
Zillington.
All right.
And yeah, so if you watch this on the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay and where you watched it from. We always enjoy seeing that. And again, because of the system has changed a little bit, and when I say system, meaning the software I'm using, if there is a question after we get off the live, please go ahead and tag
Mhm.
whoever the question is to. And
And then absolutely connect with
yes,
us. Pop our
let,
emails back up there.
let me pop the emails
And
back.
yeah, send us an email. We would love to connect.
100. And then we'll also, if we're not, I'm pretty sure we're already connected on the LinkedIn, but if we're not, we will connect on the LinkedIn.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's
So,
it.
and until until Tuesdays,
Mhm.
2 Tuesdays,
Happy holidays.
happy holidays, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.